morning gamers, Divine Technology here. So today I'm going to be going over a free software that can help you gain significant FPS while gaming. So what is this free software I'm talking about? It is called CPU Set Setter. What is that program? Many of you probably may have heard this, many others may not. So what is this? It is essentially a CPU Affinity software feature that can pretty much tell the game program to use a specific amount of threads that you want to use to improve your gaming FPS. Um, so before this, I was actually experiencing a bottleneck where my Ryzen 7 7700X on my desktop, my one core would struggle, and the problem was that while I was struggling, I was having the CPU physical thread and the virtual thread. They were very active on MSI, and they kept going off, but for some reason they kept conflicting with each other doing a task in the game. And the problem was that they kept doing tug of war on each other, and FPS numbers would drop in below 50 to 40 FPS, and my frame time consistency was just going all over the place. It was not smooth. It just kept jagging up and down, just crazy spikes. But with this software, I was able to get around that, and I was able to force the game application to use only the physical threads, and that helped my FPS performance like crazy margin. Now, the thing is that the physical threads are much stronger than the virtual threads, but you don't want the game program itself to use both the physical and the virtual, because the virtual threads are actually slower, but they still hold a purpose, but they're not meant to carry on a heavy task. So that's why my game itself was like having bad stutters and I was getting bad FPS. And here's another thing, fellas. This CPU Set Setter, this CPU Affinity feature, it kind of acts like a digital data controller. It's kind of similar to VPN in a sense, where VPN can secure your connection to a private secure server and things like that. But with CPU Set Setter, that can actually kind of like control the what you want to do with the program itself, which is what game, like maybe Battlefield 6 or Division 2, things like that, to kind of tell the program to only use these threads. I don't want you to touch any of these other ones. So that's how it would do it. But I'm gonna get into the how to find this software and how you can set this up for both AMD and Intel. So first I want to do AMD, and I'll kind of show you guys how to set this up for Intel. Let's get to it then. Alright, so AMD users, this is for all of you. For Intel users, I'll leave a timestamp below if you guys want to get there quickly as possible. But anyway, AMD, you're first, so you go to this site here, type this in exactly, and then go to github.com. Here we are. And don't worry about all these things here. These are just descriptions where you can find. So we're going to go to right here, this part right here, setup installation, follow this. So AMD users, you click this, and it's going to keep telling you if you have a Ryzen X 3D. Obviously, I don't, but don't worry about it. It's not going to be bad at all. It doesn't mean like you can't use this at all. You can still use this. But as like I said, you have a Ryzen 7 or below, you can skip all this. Doesn't matter. And we're gonna go to install latest release. We're gonna go to you guys can try out the zip or the installer, but I'm gonna use the installer first. There we go. Install for users, and don't worry, it's not gonna cause a virus if you guys see this. So create a desktop for myself, and launch. All right, so here we are in the mask area. So you guys see all this right here? It says all no SMT. Um, the creator was pretty smart to do this, so I give him props for that. Anyway, so as you can see here that I have 16 threads, and the ones that are checked to here, they're all physical threads. The ones that are unchecked, these are virtual threads, meaning I don't want the virtual threads to be interfering. So this is what you want. Now let's launch to a game and I can show you guys what this is all about. Alright, so here we are as a demonstration. We are in the Division 2 playing 1080p, 144 hertz. And you guys can see that, you know, I labeled all my threads just like this, they're like a pattern. So physical thread 1 and virtual thread 1. So I kind of labeled all individually with MSI Afterburner. Took me a while to kind of like label them all, but I still got it all. So I'm running on my Ryzen 7 700X, which has 8 cores, 16 threads. So I have 8 physical threads and I have 8 virtual threads. What you guys are seeing here is that these threads are all over the place though, and nothing's really slowing me down, but I really don't want my virtual threads to interfere with my gaming because they're not meant to do the heaviest task. So even though this is 1080p, it's not a big deal though, but I want this game to focus on my physical threads. How do I do that? We're going to go to CPU set setup right here. We're going to go to the processes. We're going to go to this file here, Division 2. And we're going to try doing this though. It's going to be really unique. Let me move this over a little bit. And we're going to do this. So watch what happens here with this part and this part here. Once I switch this over to all no SMT, all of those physical threads are going to be pushed up higher. Boom. As you guys can see that. So, yeah, this was around 30, I remember last time, but now the usage is much less. Physical 2, some usage though, and virtual thread 2, nothing much. Thread 3 and the physical, and pretty much so on and so forth. Yep, so all these threads are, or actually let me click this in and show you guys the FPS. So a little bit of an increase, but still, this is what you want. Let's move around for demonstration. As you can see, like a pattern where the virtual threads might be active, but they're not being used for this game. It's just used for background task. So here we are though, and ooh, look at that usage. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know why the virtual thread's kind of a little hazy. It's kind of getting a little higher than my physical thread, but it doesn't really matter because right now, all your physical threads are being pushed because now you're getting the benefit of getting the maximum rate of performance you paid for. So that's pretty much for AMD, how you set this up, which very simple, user friendly, things like that. This developer that created this, really smart how to do this though. Give this guy props for that. Now let's switch over to Intel side. So Intel, you're coming up next. Okay, so Intel, your part's gonna be a little different, but setup's gonna be the same. So go to GitHub again, and then scroll down, and this is your setup right here for Intel users. So Intel setup, and we're gonna go down here to latest release, and once again either zip or installer, but I'm gonna choose installer, and open file. Once again, no virus, even though it says unknown, you'll be fine. Create a desktop here. We're gonna launch here. Alright, so here we are. All right, so this is a very nice. So the P cores are a bit off. So for my CPU, mine is an Ultra 9 185H, so I have 6 performance cores, 8 efficient cores, and 2 low power efficient cores. So this is something that the developer didn't make a good job on, but hey, you know what? As long as they had the setup though, it's fine, but I'm gonna make some adjustments here. So these two right here, these are the LP cores. So these are the low power ones. And right here, um, these are all the P cores right here. So I believe this, yeah. So here's the no hyperthreading or things like that, or for AMD, it's called no SMT for short. But this is for Intel side, so no HT on it for hyperthreading. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 physical performance threads. So I'm not using any of the virtual threads for this setup. Anyway, and here are all the E cores. And like I said, this setup is a little bit off here because this side's supposed to be all P cores, but for some reason the developer made it that way. I don't know why, but it's whatever. But at least this guy was able to, label all these. These are not the correct name labels, but these are all E cores. Let's go into a game and demonstrate how this works. Okay, so here we are on Division 2 again, this time on the Intel processor. So Intel uses this, can be a little bit confusing depending on how many performance cores and efficient cores you guys have. So this is how you're gonna do it. And my Ultra 9 has 2 LP efficient physical threads. I don't know why they're going off, but it doesn't really matter. But all of them are all at a steady 40 to 50% usage. But right now, let's force the game to use physical threads. So let's do on the performance side. So we're gonna do this real quick. So go to this right here. Oh wait, actually we gotta do this real quick. So making sure that, yep, so we're gonna try this out though. So process, I don't think the game's not gonna like it when it doesn't have efficient physical threads on the side. So here we are, try this out, boom. Oh, saw a little bit of a dip there. Oh, yeah, it doesn't like it. Yeah, it wants the it wants the efficient cores. So we're gonna use this real quick here, if I remember correctly. So yep, so 6 physical performance threads, and we're gonna add the other 8 efficient physical threads in there. So let's do that. I actually knew this not gonna go play well. So all no HT, and boom. There we go. Much better. Yeah, see, yeah, as you guys can see, my physical, or not my physical, my virtual thread number 1, it's, um, I mean, you guys did see that I was not using as much, but this is what you want to do. And the threads are a little bit kind of off. Yeah, so not too bad, but you know what? It's all good. But here's the fun part I like to do here. I like to play with this. So what would happen if I did all E cores? What would that do? Yeah, that's a little weird. I'm surprised that the efficient cores are actually kind of killing her in some way. Um, let's see here. Let's try this out. So yes, I have, yeah, all 8 of these going off. But let's go back to. I want to see what happens if we go back to peak orders with no hyperthreading. Let's see what happens. Is it gonna like it or nah? Yeah, for some reason that this game doesn't really want to use only physical performance, so it wants to use the efficient. So we're gonna go on back again and do that. So uh, on hyperthreading, so we're using all of the physical threads from the efficient side and the performance side, and keeping the virtuals out of the way. As you guys can see here, that um, you guys might see some usage on some of the threads, but obviously I'm getting the performance I need. But that's it for Intel users. Hope you guys found this idea and tip very well, though. I don't know why this game doesn't like the idea of me using only physical threads on performance cores. It should be a bit better, but I am running on a 1440p 240 hertz. So I don't know why it's that much, but here we are. And that's how you use it, though. It's kind of weird that there's an odd pattern with the physical E threads. I don't know why it's like that. That's so weird. But that's pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoyed for both AMD and Intel demonstration on how to use CPU set setter. With everything out of the way, here's my conclusion with the software. I believe this is an excellent software using CPU set setter for AMD and Intel. Um, it's very user friendly. In fact, what I actually love the most from this program is that you can actually put it to like select the profiles that the developer guy was able to set for you though. So for example, like for an Intel though, I could be like doing use physical threads, use virtual, use the efficient threads, things like that. It's pretty funny, very fun, and but very useful. But my rating for this, it's even though I said it's an excellent software, I'll give this thing a 9 out of 10. And the reason why I say that because on my Ultra 9 185H I was presenting for you guys to demonstrate how to use Intel side, um, the box columns that were made by the guy, it's not labeled correctly though. There were a couple of performance threads, but the rest of them were E threads, which that's not the correct label. Which I'm like, oh, that's very confusing. And there were a couple other label boxes that were um, said or pretty much named performance threads on there, which I believe those ones were efficient ones, not performance. So that's something that I noticed, which I'm like, those are not labeled correctly. I mean, you know what? Everything else looks great. It's just except for that because the labeling is not correct for that. But I still give God for the props for making the software very user friendly in a sense, and making the profiles is like just a walk in the park, essentially. So um, this software works for almost any game, but the one game I know of that I do want to point out that doesn't work very well is Black Ops 6. And the reason why I say that because apparently the anti-cheat that's with Black Ops 6, uh, for some reason it has a conflict um, with the software because the anti-cheat itself is very strict to what it does. It does not like any other third-party software that'll kind of manipulate um, anything in the game though, including your system itself. So it apparently does not like it. It kind of works just a slight bit, but it'll kind of still tell the CPU to like use the virtual threads on your CPU, which is not something you don't want to use, but it'll still happen no matter what. But anyway, that's it for this software demonstration. And this is my review as well that it's an excellent software and every gamer should get it. Though it's completely free. It's awesome though. Like it's very easy to use though, but I only use this for a couple of days, and I don't use this very often because there is another software similar to CBS Etc., and that is Process Lasso. Many of you have heard of this, many of you have not. It's a bit more advanced. It's a bit more, kind of a little bit. It's a little confusing, but it's slightly a bit better than CBS Etc. But a little spoiler alert: it does not have profiles like CBS Etc. It's unfortunate. But that'll be for a video for another day, whenever I have the chance. Well, hopefully gamers enjoyed this demonstration, and comment down below how much FPS gains you guys got. I'm kind of curious what you guys got. But that'll be it for this video. So Divine Tech Analysis out. You gamers take care. Have fun gaming out there.